Let's look at the split toning tab. Split toning works really well with black and white images. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to give it a sepia look. So I've done all of my corrections in the Basics tab. I have it looking nice and contrasty, everything I liked from earlier. But now I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs in, and we get to the split toning. When I click on that, there's 5 simple sliders. A hue and saturation for your highlights, and a hue and saturation for your shadows, and then a balance slider. And the balance slider should be set to 0. I was just playing with it, so it wasn't. Remember, if you just double click on any slider, it does take you back to what the default is. So to create a sepia look, a sepia is kind of a yellowish tone, so I'm going to move my hue slider to about 45. And then I'm going to up my saturation. You can see as I up my saturation, I'm getting a yellowish tone. I'm going to pull that back a little bit. And right now I'm affecting my highlights. I'm going to do the same thing with my shadows. I'm going to take my hue to about 45, and I'm going to push up the saturation so I can play with that a little bit. So right there, I think that's looking pretty good. My saturation for my highlights is 15, and for my shadows it's 28. So I can go in and be pretty precise. The other thing I can do is I can push my balance. So if I go to the left, it's darkening, and to the right, it's lightening. And it gives you that indication by going dark to white. And right here in the center is back to my balance. So I'm going to pull a little bit of that to a plus 24. So that is a sepia tone, what it might look like. Now, I have all of these other colors. I have all the colors available to me, and I can tint things to anything I'd like. So for my highlights, I'm going to tint my sky to a blue, and then I'm going to push up my saturation for my ground, and I left the hue to the same, about 45. I'm at 44. Here, I'll take it to, let's just make it 45. 45, I can dial that color in. So now I've got a split tone. So my color in the sky, or my highlights, is blue, and my color in the shadows is yellow. And I can come in here and play. It kind of looks otherworldly, doesn't it? Dial that back in, and I can push either direction. So now, when I go to the left, I'm pulling out more of my shadow saturation, and if I go to the right, I'm pulling out more of my highlight. So I can kind of come in here and dial in a balance that I think looks good. Don't be afraid to play with this. And what happens when you play with it on a color image? Let's go back here, take us back to color, come back here, and I can have a lot of fun with this as well. Be sure to explore. Have some fun with this one.